Welcome to Dance Mogul Magazine.
Thank you.
Can you start off by introducing yourself to our audience?
My name is Rachna Nivas, and I am a Kathak dancer, a classical dance from North India, and I'm a principal dancer with the Chitresh Dance Company, and also a soloist.
Okay.
And a teacher and an activist, I like to consider myself.
How did you get started?
Well, it was pretty much by accident. I'm a, regular middle class Indian American, born and raised in the San Francisco Bay Area, and I have always loved dance and always loved having pride in my Indian culture, but I really didn't understand how deep, how spiritual, and how holistic dance could be until I stepped into Pandit Chitresh classroom when I was in college. And the experience was electric. It was life-changing that day. I mean, walking into that room was, the energy, it was like electricity. It was the sounds of the bells that we wear on our ankles. There were about 15 students dripping in sweat. They were not looking right, they were not looking left, they were so focused. And there was this man in front, and what he was getting out of his students was not something that I had really, was something very rare. He was tough love, old school, getting things out of them by going up to them, calling them out, and holding a mirror up to them and who they are. Really questioning and making them question who they are and why they're on this planet. My whole world was very much turned upside down because I thought I knew what it was like to be Indian. I thought I knew what it was like to embrace my Indian culture until I saw how boundaries can be pushed mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, and I just wanted more. So from there, I guess the rest is history. I embarked on a journey that's now 17 years going, and I studied with this great master for that long until his recent passing. And at this point I feel like I have been handed down a very precious jewel, and that jewel is this knowledge that lies within me, and that it's a huge responsibility. And it's a responsibility I take seriously, but not as a burden, but as something that I feel is important, that I need to pass it down to the next generation and share it with the world.
Okay. I noticed in the documentary Tap World that the style was actually integrated with tap and created something, phenomenal. Like you said, that was able to travel and people got to see for 10 years.
Yeah.
Now, looking towards the future, is that something you plan on to do here in the States, integrated with other dance styles?
Yeah, I mean, so we didn't just do it with tap. We've also done collaborations with flamenco and Balinese dance. So Guruji was an innovator and broke boundaries, and that was the way he trained us. And collaboration is also something to approach very delicately and to approach with a lot of sensitivity, because it's not just about, oh, I want to jam and dance with this person. It's actually about extending your hand and learning about another culture. It's about sitting together with them, it's eating and talking, learning the history of their art, the history of their culture. So, and that's a really beautiful thing that I have been really honored to be a part of in watching these collaborations. So moving forward, not only is that something that I very much want to do, but I'm already planned a slated next sequel of the Kathak and Tap families that have been brought together by Jason Samuel Smith and Pandit Das. Is that me and my guru sister Rachna Mehta, she runs our LA school, We are doing a collaboration with tap dancers Michelle Dorrance and Dormisha Sambri Edwards. So we're premiering that in San Francisco. It's very different because this is now the women that are bringing our voices, and also highlighting the vacuum of female artists, in these percussive dance forms. There's many women who do it, but there's not a lot of women who are necessarily being recognized for that.
And I understand.
So we're really excited. We're going to be also bringing in spoken word. We're going to be bringing in Indian classical vocalist, and we're even having a female percussionist, female drummer, is going to be a part of it. So, so that's the next project. It's going to be called Speak.
Okay. And what was this weekend about? What was the workshop about this weekend?
This weekend was, I have been based in San Francisco Bay Area, and there hasn't been a whole lot of presence of the lineage and the training of Pandit Das in New York. And I've been wanting to bring it here. So thankfully Steps on Broadway was able to bring me to do a 3-day workshop to provide access to their audience of this tradition, of my training. I can share, how I learned it. And it's certainly not, obviously this is a classical dance form. It's not something you can learn in 3 days. But the idea is for people to get an experience, for people to get some exposure to what it's all about. And we don't know where it will go from there. Maybe some folks will want to continue on taking classes if I continue to come back. Some folks will become patrons. Some folks will just, in general, be able to walk away with having some more knowledge about the art.
And as far as the culture and how it leads back home for you, how do you hope to empower and inspire everyone back home with what you're doing here?
Well, we always hear that we take for granted what we have nearby. And I feel that a lot. That happens a lot. Especially in the Bay Area, we've had this school around for so long, and something that I love to do is when I go and travel and have these experiences and meeting people who are so receptive to our training and are so receptive to the art, I'm able to channel and bring that energy back and share those stories with my students there. And they love to hear, wow, okay, so these folks in Miami were really interested in the art. Oh, wow, these folks in New York were really interested. That means that maybe we should practice more because we have it here all the time. That means maybe we should go a little deeper into what we have. Maybe we should recognize, what's nearby. That's part of it. But on a larger scale, Kathakas, which is what we call ourselves, right? Storytellers, Kathakas. The idea is to travel and share the art, and for the art to be a way for making those distances smaller, and for a way for bridging cultures and bridging regions and bridging people. So, and I think that goes back to even the collaboration aspect of it, right? Because rhythm is a universal language, and it's a really beautiful metaphor for how to live life, because it's a way to meet people, it's a way to communicate with people, but it's also you're not necessarily trying to change people. You're respecting where they come from, embracing it, but finding a common ground. And that's why we don't call it fusion when we call collaboration for that reason. Same thing with the traveling. I learned so much. I feel more from when I teach workshops from the folks who are in it than probably what they learned from me. Because I'm learning where they're coming from, and it's helping me learn how to teach. Because I'm teaching people from so many different backgrounds and from different lenses. They're coming into the classroom with I have this, I knew that this is what Indian dance was. Okay, so where did they get that context? Or I know that it's this. Okay, I see. So it's really helping me to have a more robust teaching spectrum for being able to reach different kinds of people all over the world.
And finally, is there anyone you would like to thank for helping you thus far?
Well, I mean, first and foremost, the support that my mother and father have given me, you know, they've raised me to follow my passions, and they've raised me to question the norm and question things that are conventional. So I don't think without them, I never would have taken on being a dancer. And without my guru, I wouldn't have the training, the knowledge, and the vision, be given this purpose in life. And then there's, you know, my guru sisters, we call them, who are dance sisters who've also learned from the same guru. They inspire me every day. And actually, a lot of the successes that I'm getting now are on the backs of many over the years who have worked very hard to raise awareness of the dance form. So,
thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Namaskar.